The final round of the ISPS Handa Vic Open saw the leaderboard get turned on its ear. Dog-friendly conditions, to be sure, but a stiff wind made things difficult on this Sunday. Ian Cho entered play with a one-stroke lead over Madeline Sagstrom, and the leaders stumbled out of the blocks as Sagstrom and Cho would both bogey the first hole. That's a sign of things to come. And so too is this. Hee Young Park, a couple of strokes back of the lead at this point at 10 under. Her approach on 4, nicely played. She would settle for par, but we would hear much more from her a little bit later. We'll stay on 4, where the misadventures of Sagstrom and Cho would continue. Sagstrom would double bogey, and Cho would miss this short par putt as she drops another stroke. Now, Sagstrom and Cho would soon be in the rearview mirror. It was a disaster of a day for them, both carding a 9 over 81. That's 12 bogeys and 4 double bogeys between them. So Hee Young Park, what do you got? And the answer was plenty. A lot of gas on that birdie putt on 13 as she assumes a one-stroke lead at 9 under par. Meanwhile on 18, Hee Young Choi with the birdie putt to get her to 8 under, and with these swirling winds, that score could hold up because on the par 3 14th, Hee Young Park's tee shot will find shrubbery. She would end up with bogey as she falls back to 8 under. Now how about So Young Yu? The former world's number 1 is at 6 under when she gets it going on 16 with a birdie putt to move within 1. And then next on 17...
oh, it's an all-round ripper!
Call it what you want. An all-round ripper. She is tied for the lead. Now, Hee Young Park bogeyed 17, and she had this eagle putt on 18 to move to 9 under par, but it is slightly off the mark. And that means we have a 3-way tie between Hee Young Choi, So Young Yu, and Hee Young Park. So let's do 18 again, shall we? First playoff hole, Hee Young Park's approach is the pick of the bunch. Watch this one. A couple of bounces and a nice long run as she moves to within about 4 feet. Choi and So Young Yu would birdie, so Park has this eagle putt for the win. But we'd need more golf, so to 18 again, and Hee Young Choi had this eagle putt for the win, but again it doesn't fall. There was some movement though as So Young Yu missed her birdie putt, meaning it was down to 2. A third playoff hole solved nothing, so off we go again. A fourth playoff hole as Hee Young Choi and Hee Young Park try and solve this thing, and it's Choi who blinks first. Her tee shot goes way right and ends up cuddled up next to a pine cone. That is trouble. And then, as she tries to get out of trouble, well, she will sink even deeper. Park was sitting pretty after her tee shot, so Choi needing some kind of miracle with her third shot, and she would end up putting this one out of bounds. It all comes undone on the fourth playoff hole for Hee Young Choi. So a par putt will seal it, as Hee Young Park is your ISPS Handa Vic Open champion in a battle of attrition. What a week in Victoria as the tour stays down under next week for the Australian Open.